Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Fast Fridays. Vroom, vroom.
I'm Ryan. I also love Fast Fridays. I'm going to miss them. Vroom, vroom.
I'm Dan, the road ends here.
Oh, boy.
And I love Fast Fridays. And this is the Deck the
Hallmark
Hallmark
Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello, everybody.
Oh, boy.
Howdy.
It has been an 11-week journey.
A somber vroom vroom to you.
A somber vroom,
my
vroom to
friends.
you as well. This is tough. The one plus side that I can think of is this time next week, there'll be Christmas movies on the TV.
Yeah.
We'll be setting up down at the Marriott downtown for our 26-hour live stream.
26-hour live stream. You
Ryan
got
will
it.
not be joining us in person. That's actually the bad news.
Probably closer
I'll be there
to
virtually
20,
at some point.
27 probably. Hour to record the ep. It is sad. It's a sad day, but let's not make it too sad, because I have heard from numerous people. We've even gotten emails, Ryan, about how much people
Love the driver of the week.
No, less so. Love the
Wrestle
Fast
him to the
Fridays.
ground? Oh.
Yeah. Now, Tammy Jenks, was that her name? A lot of Tammy Jenks response. People love the Tammy Jenks, but a lot of people. I've heard no one go, "I can't believe you're doing Fast Fridays on this channel." I've heard so many people message us. This has been the highlight of my week. We had someone comment in messages that said this has been a tough season of life for her, and she's watching the movies and listening to these episodes, and it's been the highlight of her week every week. So let's not be sad because it's over. Let's be happy that it happened. Amen.
Amen.
No, absolutely. I also that's really, really genuinely no bit. That's really, really cool. Also, this could have been an unmitigated disaster.
Could have been real bad.
So the fact that anybody got anything out of it is just the pearl.
As I've explained this to people, and I think this began to hit me about halfway through this series, this is like the Hollywood version of a Hallmark movie.
Very similar.
It's so crazy. There's so many things about it that don't make sense. There's so much fun to pick apart. And that's part of the reason why you love them. That's why people go back is for the craziness.
It's the comfort.
Just
it's
like
someone's comfort
you
food,
go back to the Hallmark movies, even though they're not going to make sense. There's going to be the wait whats, and that's what works. That's what we love about them.
We're just in it for the kiss at the end and the barbecue at
The
the end. It's
barbecue
all
at
right
the
there.
end or beginning,
That's it.
depending on where you are.
Yeah, or the beginning, depending on if
and don't
part
worry,
of- or a
because
three-parter.
you can catch Ryan and myself on our spinoff podcast, Let's Pot a Parlay, which is a sports gambling.
How did you guys do?
We did terribly.
Dan, I'm back though.
You're back?
I had a good Sunday. We haven't talked since
You had
Sunday.
a good Sunday?
I had a good Sunday. Couple $100 back in the pocket, baby. Let's
But
go.
not- but not-
Saturday-
but not Dan's
Saturday,
pockets.
I had a great, one great bet, and I decided to split them into two bad bets. So I had one great bet, and I was like, I love Oklahoma here. I love the under in the Clemson game, and I love Alabama. And I was like, instead of that, let me split it into two different bets. And I lost both of those bets that I split two separate bets.
Dan and I did have a simultaneous but also very different come to Jesus moment where Dan was like, he should have gone with his gut. And I was like, well, Dan, I go with my gut all the time and still lose a lot of money. So we're crossing each other in the hallway. But hey, you'll get them next time.
That's right. Let's Pot a Parlay. Find that on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts.
And the hotline for gambling addiction is in the link in the description.
Pappolla.
Oh, dear. That's good. And bad.
Yeah.
Vroom,
I try.
vroom, vroom,
Vroom.
Vroom.
All right, let's talk about Hobbs and Shaw. Originally premiered at the Dolby Theater.
The Dolby.
The Dolby.
I saw this movie in Dolby.
Wow. Did you see it at the Dolby Theater on July 13th?
This movie came out in July? No, I didn't.
This movie
That's
did
late
not
for a
come
fast
out in
movie.
July. This movie came out in August, but it premiered at the Dolby.
Oh, interesting.
On July 13th. And then just a few weeks later, United States.
The United States. So there was a union, and someone went over with a sword and was like, I dub thee, Sir States.
I don't know, man.
A little inside baseball, real quick, for the listening audience. It's been a day tech wise, and all three of us have learned why they use walkie talkies in this movies. It's just the safer route.
It's the safer route.
We're an hour behind schedule. We tried to pot a parlay. I mean, like things aren't going well.
Nothing goes wrong when you're walkie or you're talkie.
When you walkie, you're talkie.
When you walkie,
so whammy kaplay me.
You do. In the United States, August 2nd, 2019, it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off. We're in London town. We're in London.
Bip, bip, London town.
Boy.
Jason Statham.
A little vroom to
Jason
you.
Statham in London town.
Where a team of MI6 agents led by someone who is most definitely not a Shaw storms a warehouse to snag a deadly virus called the Snowflake.
Come on.
And if that upsets you,
That's right. Liberal.
you
No
quit
good.
quit being a little snowflake.
Yeah.
They also they are found by what I would classify as a literal super villain. His name's Brixton Lore. He's a robot. He's got crazy eyes, super strength. He's kind of able to sense when the battles are about to happen, and so that makes life pretty easy for him. But the woman, who is definitely not a Shaw, injects herself right with the old Snowflake and escapes. And Brixton's like, what's going on there? So everyone's like, what's going on there? Is she a traitor? What's going on? Who can tell? We then see Hobbs and Shaw. They're living their lives, going throughout their day, beating people up. Why, you might ask? The Snowflake. They are going about their daily routines. And the whole thing, they're trying to find what's going on with this Snowflake. They hear about this virus is going around, and they're like, is it a terrorist group that's taking it? And so they're doing this whole thing. They're fighting, and Hobbs and Shaw. It's just good to see them again,
Right?
I will say, specifically Hobbs.
Yes.
Because he's just ginormous.
Yeah.
He's just huge. And he's having breakfast at a diner with his daughter, who's just also adorable, when he is visited by his old friend, Ryan Reynolds. Took some time away from doing Deadpool and whatnot to show up. He's a CIA agent, and he informs Shaw about the Snowflake and just how serious this threat is. And he's like, I don't know about this. I got my daughter here and all this stuff. At the same time, Shaw goes to visit his mother in prison. She tells him that his sister Hattie is in a bit of a predicament, and so you're starting to realize just who Hattie might be. And so after leaving, Shaw is approached by another agent and is like, hey, we got to go after this Snowflake. This leads Hobbs and Shaw to come face to face once again, and it's big fun. And so they are now trying to, they're working with Hattie, and Mr. Robot is coming after him. They're doing fights. They're doing a race through the town and all this stuff. He's riding his motorcycle, and his motorcycle it's like a transformer.
Some of it goes
others
up, stays vertical.
And so that happens. And so they are trying to figure out, what do we do? Because if we try to go out on the road or whatever, this guy can just manipulate his motorcycle and do whatever. We have to figure out a way to get him to come to us. Yeah. We got to figure out a way to really push things into our favor. And so Hobbs is like, luckily for you, my entire family lives on a remote island. Go ahead.
Also got to fix the thing that's going to get the virus out of her, of course. And that's why they go to the island, is his brother.
Oh, it's not to...
No, his brothers can fix anything and is off the grid.
But then they find out that they're coming.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
so yes, they go to the island because of the virus, and they figure out a thing to make it, to suck it out.
Suck it right out.
Suck it right on out. Yep. It's like when you get bit by a snake and you kind of suck it out of your own body. It's like that.
Yeah, very similar.
That's how they explain
it. Go right back in. If you suck your own snake venom, you're just doubling down at that point, right?
No, because you spit it out.
You spit it out. That's the key.
Duh. You didn't think about that. So they're getting attacked on the island. They have figured out the device to suck out the venom and spit it out. And that's when Brixton shows up. And so they have now gotten this island and they have it rigged with all sorts of explosives. Hello there. Rig, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I don't know if we have time for this today, but...
Oh, we got time for this.
What's been going on with
Anytime
you?
you're running late and having a bad day, you call your boy Wrigley. I'm here.
What'd you think about this movie?
I had a papaya smoothie and I watched it.
You had a papaya smoothie?
Papaya smoothie, yeah.
What does that mean?
You ever heard of the fruit papaya, you dingbat?
You had a papaya?
Smoothie, a papaya, the fruit papaya.
And then you watched a movie?
I had a papaya smoothie while I watched Hobbs and Shaw.
I'm sorry.
Papaya smoothie.
I thought you said you had a papaya movie.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
That's what Ryan heard too? He had a papaya movie?
Rick, good to
It's
talk
good
to
to
you.
talk to you. Vroom to you, sir.
Back at you. Can't wait for Driver of the Week later.
Oh, yeah. You bet. Is that me? Am I doing that?
No. Well, maybe today.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And papaya is just mixed with
I got it.
4 different kinds
I got
of
it.
rum.
I got it. So they're
pants.
coming. Things are exploding. They go on a little bit of a race. There's a helicopter that's picking up multiple vehicles, whatever. They then crash down. They get in a bit of a fight. The good news is, everybody, is that the virus has been sucked out. Again,
spit out.
what you do... what happens to Idris Elba?
I don't.
He just kind of
Falls
overloads.
into they shut him down.
Yeah,
He
shut him
falls
down.
into the water.
They
Yeah.
say, get out of here. What can you do? And that's the end of the movie. They successfully
button or something?
do the things, and we're all better for it. And then we didn't stay tuned for any mid-credits or post-credits.
There's like 6 of them. They're all the same.
And that, my friends, was Hobbs and
Furious
Shaw.
presents
Suck out the
Hobbs
venom and call it a
Shaw.
day. We're going to be
You
right
dumb
back.
snowflakes.
At the Hallmark.
Hey.
You know what's great about our office?
If it's in there for just a second.
and then you just it's right here, but it doesn't you just right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. In our office, when it gets cold outside here in South Carolina, it gets just blazing hot in our building.
Right.
And so when you're running behind and having a tough Monday, nothing's better than a sauna. You know what I mean?
It's a sauna.
But
And that's when we do our best talking.
That's when we do our best talking, and we're getting a new HVAC put in just for us though. So
Yeah,
don't worry.
I'll believe it when I see
I
it.
know. Yeah.
Let's talk about Hobbs and Shaw. Technically the ninth, the 10th.
It's in between 8 and 9. It's in between 8 and 9.
It would have been between, because he doesn't show up in 9,
Yes.
and this came out before
Okay,
9.
yeah,
so
yeah,
this
yeah.
is 9.
But we're doing it after the fact because it's kind of its own thing. Let's start with the hot take. Let's share our thoughts on it, and I will start with you, Ryan. Ryan, what'd you think of Hobbs and Shaw?
This hot take belongs in the sauna. Let me tell you, I really, I liked seeing, to your point, Rock and Statham back together is the appeal of the movie. It's why it's literally the name, right? And they were great. It's a blanket statement, but it's always accurate. Watching them play off each other is great. There's bummers to be had here. Like, Idris Elba is one of our finest actors, and they gave him not a lot to do in this film. It's like, cool name. It's like a name of like a Rocky villain. It's like Rocky 7, Brixton versus Balboa. But it's like so paint by numbers with him. I had no recollection of Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Hart, Vanessa Kirby being in this movie. They were all cool. Like, it's like those were like nice little surprises. But the first hour, even with Rock and Statham doing the Rock and Statham thing, didn't grab me. I thought the second hour was a lot more fun. I really dug the no guns fight in Samoa. I actually thought it was hilarious that this movie ends. It's the last one we're watching, and it's actually the most shy of Idris Elba being a robot. It's actually the most practical ending there is. It's just a fist fight.
Yeah.
There's no fiery explosion. And then I don't know if it was one of the post-credit stingers or if it was right before. At one point, a robot voice tells The Rock, "You don't remember me, but you're going to." If that somehow ties in the Fast X Part 2.
Oh, interesting.
What?
All of this was worth it. The movie was cool. I liked it.
Okay, so this was the first Fast related movie that I saw. I saw this, and then I saw 9, and I saw X. And when I first saw this, I was like, this is amazing. I get the hype. This is an absolute blast. And then over the course of the last, 2.5 months now, I've watched all of the Fast and Furious movies. And what this movie is not is anywhere close to being as good as the good Fast and Furious movies are. Like, this is somewhere in the middle of the road. One, it is like, we get one race scene through the streets, and then you do get the fun, like, helicopter pulling the cars up. But, like, by Fast and Furious standards, not nearly enough vehicle in this movie. But I do love Hobbs and Shaw together, and I thought that, it was fun. The fight scene at the end is wonderful. But now that I've seen it in the midst of the universe in which it exists, it's not nearly as exciting as it was as a standalone film for me, as somebody who has no previous relationship with these movies. And so I think it's just going to kind of hang out somewhere in the middle, because it is a lot of fun, but it's just, when Fast is hitting, it's hitting hard. And this movie is never quite reaching that level.
So I had the reverse of you. I've seen every other Fast movie, and I saw this and was just like, in the theaters, just like, nah, it's okay. It is what it is. And then watching it here, I had a lot of fun with it. I do think, I would agree with you, I think there's no argument to be made. In whatever order you want to put them, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 are the 5 best in this franchise.
Definitely.
However you want to put them. I don't think any other movie has an argument for being better than 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And then there's the other 5 that are down here, probably led by Tokyo Drift, maybe not, maybe not, I don't know. But they all have some sort of fatal flaw. In between the best 5 and the worst 5 is Hobbs and Shaw.
That's exactly right.
In my opinion.
That's exactly right.
I would agree with that.
I think you can make an argument that Tokyo Drift is better than this one. But
I
that's
think
the only one you could.
movie.
Yeah.
But not nearly as entertaining.
Correct.
You've got Statham and The Rock. You've got Kevin Hart in just the best amount of Kevin Hart possible. A really funny scene on the plane with him. Ryan Reynolds jumps in for a fun scene. Idris Elba seems to be having a blast doing absolutely nothing. There are some bonker stuff in this. And then here's why I think it's better than Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
The Samoa set piece in this movie is really quality.
Yeah.
It's better than anything in Tokyo Drift, in my opinion. The Samoa set piece at the end of this movie, where they set it all on fire, they shut down all the guns, they go very analog, is a really cool scene. And then it ends with a fist fight on the rocks by the water. I think the movie ends strong. Everyone's having a blast. It doesn't make a bit of sense, and nobody cares about the snowflakes. Am I right? And so,
well, you suck out the venom.
Yeah, I think that puts it in this weird middle ground between the best of what the series has to offer and the worst of what the series has to offer. Solid number 6 for me. That's what I would give it out of 11 movies.
What do you mean when you say solid? So it's the
like
6.
if there's 11.
There's 11. It would be 6th on my list.
Okay, I didn't know if you were giving it like a 6 out of 10.
So I would go 5X, 7, 8, 6, Hobbs and Shaw.
Got it. Okay. That's
or no,
right around there for
5X, 8, 7, 6, Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah.
6, 5, 10, 8, 7, Hobbs, Shaw. Yeah.
One hop this time.
Slide to the left.
It's time for all the feels where we talk about when this movie gave us all of those
Crisscross
feels. Ryan.
You two might not have seen this because I think it was after the credits. I don't think any of my feels have actually been serious feels throughout this, other than maybe Paul Walker with Vin Diesel at the end of 7. But there's a really nice scene between Hobbs's daughter and Hobbs's mom, her grandmother, meeting for the first time, like during the credits. And it was actually very quite touching. And what a way to wrap out Fast Fridays with an actual really heartfelt scene. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think with the 2 scenes that you mentioned, the 2 cameos.
Yeah, that's mine.
So Kevin, for both of these characters are similar to me. And by characters, I mean these actors. Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart are both people that I like in small doses. I'm not a huge fan of either one of them, but when they hit, they're very funny. Kevin Hart was hilarious. Ryan Reynolds, saying the stuff and him being like, my daughter's right. Like all of that was very funny. And I'm happy that that's all that it was, and that it didn't become a bigger part of the movie, because it would have ruined it a little bit. But the small little scenes that both of those two guys got, both of them crushed it.
So those two scenes are genuinely funnier than anything in the Fast and Furious series.
Correct.
And then the Samoa...
way funnier than Tej and Roman doing the weird stuff back and forth.
And then the Samoa set piece is one of the best set pieces in the series, and so that should tell you how bad the rest of this movie is, because you have the funniest stuff and you have one of the best set pieces, and then it gets lost along its way. But Kevin Hart's great, Ryan Reynolds is great, and the Samoa set piece is great. So those
and the girl playing the daughter is adorable. So
well, and then I also really like Vanessa Kirby in this movie. She's in
she's good.
The more recent Mission Impossible films, and she does a really good job in this movie as being the Shaw sister. So there you go.
Hey, Shaw sister.
Hey, Shaw sister.
I know you're proud of yourself there. Are you okay? It is not that funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah. It's pretty funny. You suck the venom out,
right out,
and then it can't affect you in your mouth because there's no blood in there.
That's right.
Let's get to the wait what. It's where we talk about what in this particular film made us go, wait, what? Ryan?
At one point early on, Hobbs says to Shaw, "That's why I hate working with you. It's your voice." Not that he was once a merciless murderer, but his voice really gets Hobbs going.
And is that the thing that people think about? Like, has anyone ever been like, Jason Statham's voice is a problem?
It's tough.
Anyone?
I think he's got one of the better voices of all of us. No?
Yes.
Did he think he was talking to Kevin Hart? Like,
are you kidding me?
Top tier voice.
He's got the best voice in that movie.
Yeah, it's a great voice.
Bran identified this a few weeks ago, that the rules of the film, the saga, if you will, is as long as you don't land on the ground, you're good. This one took it to a new level, though. At one point, Rock is running down a building sideways in the first hour of this film. It's like 100 stories, and then he lands on the roof of a car. He gets up immediately.
Yeah. and if it had been the ground, he would have been dead.
No, dead.
And that is as clear as crystal.
Yeah.
Fortuitous break.
Top of that car made by Tempur-Pedic. It absorbs all of that and just, good to go.
Indeed. I want to make clear, I love Idris Elba. He's genuinely one of my favorite actors. So these next two are on him, and it's none of it's his fault. He literally, so Brand's talking about how he does the thing with the bike and it's Transformers, it's Optimus Prime. Like he does something with the bike, and then at one point he literally goes through, ironically, a double-decker bus. And somehow there are not a human to be found in the streets of London. No one sees this. No one checks on him. No one checks on the bus. Everything was fine. Yep. Just a regular rainy day in good old England town. And then last one for me. And honestly, out of all the wait whats, however many I've done, 40 to 50 throughout these 2.5 months, last one, they literally had Idris Elba say, this is a direct quote, "Genocide schmenocide." And
oh my!
I couldn't believe it.
Idris, do us a solid. This is just something we've been talking about off.
Can you imagine him being like, "You really want me to say this line?"
Can you say genocide schmenocide?
Genocide schmenocide.
But really, really sell it.
Genocide schmenocide.
Idris Elba's voice. Actually, give me Idris Elba's voice over
Statham's voice any day of the week. You're right. You're right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Idris, we don't have a ton for you, pretty paint by numbers character, but we have this one line for you.
Your motorcycle's a transformer. You're a machine. You do say genocide, schmenocide, and action.
Yeah. I only have two. One, they're having a fun time. They're drinking some drinks. I gotta say though, like even for The Rock, that was a hard pour. It is a straight full glass of straight liquor. I know The Rock. I know The Rock's a big guy, but let's pump the brakes a little bit, buddy. That was a heavy pour. You'll feel it at least, right? Like, But now I can't stop thinking about like how much does it take for him to get like to start feeling it, like because he's just such a big guy. Now I want to know. Let's go out for a night. I won't drink because why would I? But I'll watch you drink. Two, this.
You found a way to make that weird.
The helicopter is pulling vehicles, and they keep like strapping them on and like fighting against the helicopter and blah blah blah. The chain, guys, it's just the chain becomes detached, and what The Rock does is The Rock.
Yeah, he stands in the gap.
He does stand in the gap. He grabs the chain. And I want to be as clear as possible here. Attached on the other side of that chain is a helicopter. And he pulls it back in and reconnects it to the vehicle. It's just, I don't know what you want me to do, because it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm so happy it happened. But like, also, come on. Like, that was, even for this, that was insane. The Rock literally pulling a helicopter a little bit closer to him so he can reconnect it to a vehicle. Insane. I loved it.
Yeah, the fact is that holding either side of that would have caused him to lose balance or fall.
Yeah.
You forget the fact that a helicopter weighs tons, and is above him, has the leverage. Yeah, I think that like you could hear by Ryan and Brandon's wait what's that this is tough. It's tough because
what do you do? Not
everything here is like, yeah, of course that could happen in this series. And the one glaring one in this movie is during the Samoa fight, it goes from the black of night to midday in 5 seconds. If you go back and watch this, it goes from the black of night to not to like dawn, to like the sun is high in the sky, and then maybe a minute later it is pitch black and raining. They filmed those three things. It's supposed to be one long fight scene, and they filmed it probably over the course of a couple of weeks on very different days and times of day. And they were like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just throw it together and no one will care. And, it's glaringly obvious. On a second view through, they start that fight in the middle of the night, and there's literally a timer. You can't be like, well, they've been fighting for hours. There's a 30-minute timer, and they start fighting, and it's dark outside. And then you see that only 8 minutes have gone off the timer, and then it goes back, and it's daytime.
Crazy weather patterns.
We looked at the Doppler and it said eclipse.
And then rain.
That's right. It's a quick eclipse rain situation. You know what? I'm fine with The Rock holding onto a chain that holds a helicopter and one that holds 6 Mack trucks connected to each other. You know what? I'm fine with him walking to the side of a building, landing on a car. You know what you can't do? Take a picture of somebody with your cell phone a foot away and make it a passport picture. I don't care what tech you have. I don't care if you have Ted Roman. You go get a passport picture made. When they tell you it's not the perfect brightness or the thing behind you, it's not that easy, guys. There's no way you can pull that off. I'm reaching here if you can't tell. That's all I got.
Let's get to
Fast
or Furious.
Yes.
Gosh, I almost called it What the Hallmark like a moron.
Stupid.
Because this, unlike What the Hallmark, has clear guidelines. And it's fast or furious.
One or the other.
Ryan?
I'm furious, but not really furious. I'm bummed that this is over. Like I said at the top, this could have been a just absolute disaster. Like, let's take this long-standing podcast series and do something you've never done in many years. To the few people on the internet who are still mad at me for suggesting this, I apologize. To everyone else, what a literal and figurative ride. Thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
I got to be honest, and we're closing on 1,000 episodes, and doing something like this reeks of jumping the shark. it reeks of these guys are just grasping at straws. And so it didn't feel like that at the time, but looking back, I can see how people would think that. And I feel like it could have really gone terribly, and it didn't. It was amazing.
I had legitimate concerns, but it worked out. I'm not even a year into this with y'all, so the fact that this was hopefully at least a triple, if not a home run, and shirts were made, go on.
I mean, driver of the week, I think, does save it a good bit, like every week. But I want to share something that is unrelated to the movies and is related to my life. And it's my only reason I'm sharing it is because this series has come to a close, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do this bit. But there is across the street from Dan and I, there is a used car lot, and
extreme little boys. Extreme.
Don't.
Sorry.
Gosh, just dox us. Do you want to give your social? A couple weeks ago, I drove by this.
It's not directly across from our street. No one would find us. All right, whatever. Go ahead.
I drove by this car lot, and over the top of a standard car, there was a banner that said "Car of the Week," and I thought it was so funny. And I was like, "I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take a video and I'm gonna be like, guys, I can't believe they did it, but the Car of the Week, we did it. This is so amazing." And I haven't seen the sign since. I was like, next time I go by, I'll do this. I'll do the Car of the Week, but it'll be very funny. And they got rid of, I guess no one could compete with whatever that car was. And so why even try? And so I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to do it and tie it into Fast Fridays. It's not saying I won't ever do it, but I haven't seen the sign since.
You didn't call them and be like, where's the Car of the Week sign?
Where's the Car of the Week sign? And how do we get it in our office?
How do I know we're in the Car of the
You'd
Week?
be like, hey, this is Anya Marks. I was just curious where the Car of the Week was.
Car of the Week. They did.
Anya Marks was a driver of the week.
Good for Anya, man.
Yeah. So that was just I'm furious that I didn't get to do it. So I thought I'd share it here, that there was a car establishment that actually had a Car of the Week, and I thought it was great. Dan?
I'm furious this is over. This was an absolute joy. And I know it sounds like we're leaving summer camp or we won't see Ryan again. And none of that's true. I mean, we'll record with him and we'll see him next week at the marathon. But this was a fun time. I am excited that it worked. And I'm also excited for what we could possibly think of to do after the way home, which I assume is coming back in January.
Yeah. Well, that's assuming that Ride's not coming back.
But do
Rider
we
of the
have to
week?
go back to Ride? Answer me that.
We have to.
if you guys tell me to be here, I'll be here, type of thing.
You know, and the good news is we can now that this
shifting back, gear shifting down from Fast Fridays to hay.
Well, the rain, it's going to rain.
Tarp. We got to go get some tarps down at Target. Don't be stupid.
There's a monsoon coming. Do y'all want to have dinner in the barn with the open and you have to go
air.
We're watching these great movies where they have barbecues. You guys want to have one in the barn.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Pouring down rain. So yeah, it's tough to not be vroom vroom right now.
It is tough. It is tough. But that does mean that we now have time to do Let's Pot a Parade. So we're all better for that, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get to the driver of the week. Dan, who do we have today?
It's actually just Tim Tebow, if you can believe it.
Oh, from the documentary.
It's just Tim Tebow.
Hey, what's going on? God bless. It's not me. It's not me.
And Tim just says all glory to God.
All glory to God all the time, baby.
All the time, baby.
What's going on?
Exactly right.
Go Gators. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. No. Here's the thing. So when Tim Tebow the football stuff,
Are you turning into the ladies?
Hold on.
Man?
When he touches down and he gets on his knees and prays to the Lord, I love that. Go Gators. Again, I'm not that Tim Tebow. I don't have a Heisman. People just see me and they go, "Hi, man."
Hi, Tim.
Okay, I gotta go.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Bye, Tim. Thanks for
appreciate
everything.
Yeah.
I love not Tim Tebow.
Yeah, of course. We all do.
We all do.
We all do.
We did, everybody. We'll be back next week. It will be the week of the Christmas movies. Can you believe it?
Halloween.
Can you believe it? Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.